Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Monday, November 17, 2025 and I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Warid Ahmed and we have a packed show for you today. So first up, Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund has sold some of its U.S. shares in U.S. companies before the Crown Prince's Washington trip. Emirates Airlines is moving closer to a Starlink deal as the Dubai Airshow nears. The Snoonu founder takes international CEO role. Sorry, it's a Monday morning at Saudi delivery giant Jahez, and Wazen expands Eyewear brand into Egypt through Baraka Group partnership.
And a very interesting thing is happening today. Today marks a big moment for the region startup scene as the final pitch, Dubai, officially premieres on OSN Plus and OSN TV. In the first episode, we will meet the bold founders stepping into the spotlight to pitch their ideas to two powerhouse investors, Jigar Sagar of Triliv Holdings and Sami Khorebi of Incubate Investments, and they'll be guided by host and creator John Aguilar. The show brings real stakes, real mentorship, and real investment opportunities. Tonight, we witness ambition, pressure, and the raw energy of entrepreneurs from this city, the great city of Dubai, chasing their breakthrough. And the final pitch, Dubai, begins tonight.
So exciting.
Yeah. And Worth over the weekend was at Travis Scott.
Oh man, it was
What
insane.
was it like?
It was insane. No, first of all, honestly, I think that I got a good experience because I had really nice tickets.
Nice.
I think that's what it was. I wasn't in the crowd. I wasn't in the actual raging. I wasn't in there, and I'm so grateful for it. I was able to get these tickets where you can basically be. I think they reserve it for Travis Scott's closest circle.
Nice.
It's called the Riser. It's right in the middle, Majid,
Nice.
and it has security guards around it. And it's you cannot imagine how I felt when I got escorted there, and then the entire crowd was looking at me. Why do you get to be up there? I was so shocked. I had a direct view of it, but it was amazing. It was beautiful. I think I've never heard an artist say Abu Dhabi that much in my life, but it was a great performance. He has this kind of genius artist energy about him.
To be honest, I wasn't there, but I was reading a few pieces by some publications. They were apart from the fireworks and everything, it didn't live up to the hype. So as a fan,
Really?
did it? Yeah,
It did live up
actually
to
read
the
2,
hype.
3.
It 100% lived up to the hype.
Because I've realized in the recent times, if we just discuss the economy of these concerts, everything is a full house now. Somehow you go to any place. We were at Untold last week. This week, Travis Scott. Then we had Basim Yusuf come for a stand-up. There's a lineup of stars. The Dubai Comedy Festival ended. The Abu Dhabi Comedy Festival is going to come. Saudi Comedy Festival happened, and there was a lot of criticism from the West towards their own people for coming to Saudi. And it's always that. They always have some problem with Saudi Arabia, even if something good is happening. And all of these things are such big crowd pullers. So the gate money that these event companies get from it, the artists getting so much money. I think everyone wants to come here because it's actually equal to the money that they get on their international tours, I think. That is why they would come. If you get paid, I think, $500,000 to perform in US, if you're getting the same money here, you would come. Otherwise, you won't, right?
That's true. And I
There's
think
so much money and management involved behind all of this.
It is true. And I remember for me, it was so interesting, I think, to see the marketing around the entire event, to see Lovin' up there, to see Virgin Radio. I don't know why, but there was this ad of Chris Evans that kept playing over and over again with his wife. But I think that the marketing was really great at the event. It was very well organized. I also saw people passing out. I did see that. It was slightly scary to see, but it's I think that I don't live in AD, so whenever I go there, and it's because what's it called? The place where the concert was, Majid, you could see the roller coasters from Ferrari World.
Was it the Etihad Park or something? Or where was the venue?
No, it was near Yas Mall.
Oh, okay.
But it was when you see all of that and you see all these venues that they've created. We always talk about them on the show of how they have the best roller coasters or Disneyland is coming soon. But when you actually see it eye to eye and you're there to experience it, you realize how big all of this really is.
Yeah, talking about roller coasters, World is going to do a story. You'll see it on the Smashi socials. The world's biggest, tallest, and I think longest roller coaster is going to open in Saudi Arabia at Six Flags in Qiddiya, which is the entertainment city outside of Riyadh. It's going to open on December 30 or 31st.
I think Beastland was just a taster.
Yeah.
It was just a taster, the theme park that just recently opened by Mr. Beast in collaboration with Turkey Al Sheikh and Riyadh Season.
So there's so much coming in this region, so you should also come. But apart from that, since we're talking about Saudi Arabia, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is going to the US. Tomorrow is the day when we'll see him meet Mr. Trump after 2018 for the first time in Washington, in the White House, and there's a lot of news coming out around it. And the first story is actually somehow related to it. So Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, the $1 trillion giant, has sold its holdings in 9 US listed companies, including Visa and Pinterest, according to new regulatory filings released just days before Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman's first visit to Washington since 2018.
The nearly $1 trillion sovereign fund reduced its exposure to American equities by 18% in the third quarter of this year, retaining $19.4 billion across 6 companies, such as Uber and Take-Two Interactive. Now, PIF's U.S. holdings previously peaked at $56 billion in late 2021.
And PIF also kept its stake in Electronic Arts, which will no longer count toward US-listed holdings once the gaming company's $55 billion take-private deal closes. The consortium includes Silver Lake Capital and Jared Kushner, his company Affinity Partners, with PIF providing the largest equity investment and becoming majority owner.
The shift follows earlier exits from Meta, PayPal, and FedEx, and comes as Saudi Arabia prioritizes major domestic projects ahead of Expo 2030 and the 2034 FIFA World Cup. Now, these efforts align with the kingdom's broader economic diversification plans under Vision 2030.
And the filings land ahead of the Crown Prince meeting with President Donald Trump tomorrow on November 18, where both sides are expected to sign a lot of agreements. There's so much chatter on Western media about it. We'll talk about it, but the visit follows Trump's earlier statement in Riyadh that Saudi Arabia has committed $600 billion in US investments, and this comes over the next 4 years during Trump's era as the president.
And
it's not like the UAE $1.4 trillion, which are promised over 10 years, right? So it's so interesting. The most important part about this is that every time we see this Saudi Arabia or US linked, the Western media has a problem of always connecting it to somehow the country which is doing a genocide in Palestine. I don't even want to name them now. I've come to that point. But it's not that. It's Saudi Arabia doing good in terms of business, in terms of deals, in terms of everything. They try to take the shine away from Saudi Arabia. They make a very weird argument.
I don't think it's them taking the shine away. I think it's, and Rich explained this really well. I think, you know what, I'll mention it. I don't mind mentioning it. But basically, a lot of reports have come out, specifically this scoop by Axios, that basically said that Israel is basically urging Donald Trump to approve the selling of these really special
F-35s.
Yes, the F-35s, to basically approve them by telling Saudi Arabia you should normalize relations with Israel.
Sign the Abraham Accords.
Now I understand what magic means in the sense if they're trying to take the limelight away from Saudi Arabia. No, she's still the star of the show, 100%. I think it's more of the fact that we don't realize it sometimes, and it honestly took me a minute to realize it, but when you write news like this, even if you are pro-Saudi Arabia, what ends up happening is that you kind of, you plant the seed.
Yeah.
You plant the seed, you almost manifest it, something like that happening. And that's why they're writing about it. It's because these writers, these publications, they have a bias. They have a bias towards Israel, and they want something like this to happen. But I think with this entire topic, Majid, about them like selling their shares in these U.S. companies, in Pinterest, in Visa, I think there's a reason why this is happening. Number one, Yasser Al-Rumayyan did warn us, the PIF government and chairman, that at some point, Saudi Arabia would reduce its foreign investments from 30%, I believe, to about 18, 19%. Second of all, I think this is so smart because we know Saudi has so many projects that honestly at this point, like I can't even count them. There's so many projects, you know, they have their expo that's coming, the World Cup that's coming. There's just so many events that are coming.
Yeah.
Are they really going to empty their treasury? Are they going to take from their treasury? Or are they going to take from their foreign investments? And I think in this case, if you take a look at the two, how they can fund their mega projects, 100% the foreign investments sound better than emptying their treasury for this. But I think it's kind of like, it's kind of a risk, isn't it? Because it has to, my question, Majid, is how are they going to measure that return? You know, if they're selling off their foreign investments, they're taking money from their treasuries, they're trying to get these mega projects done. It's all government funded, of course, because PIF is chaired by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. How are they going to measure those returns? Because these projects, we're not going to get them anytime soon. And when we do get them, how do you think that success is going to be measured?
See, there's like a multifaceted approach.
Sorry, I put you on the spot there.
No,
it's
no.
Just, it's a question I've been thinking
There's
about.
so many things that you have to link to understand it, because it's not just one private company doing something, it's a country trying to do something. The very first thing is oil. Oil prices are down. Saudi earns a lot from oil, and they're using that oil money to diversify away from oil. So first of all, oil money is not coming in as much as they expected. So they need money from some other source. That's the first point. Second point is they need money, so there's like a lot of options. They've sent out a lot of sukuks, the Islamic bonds. They have borrowed from all over the world money. That is being done because they think if they borrow money at a 10% rate, for example, they get 100 million from a bank, 10% is they'll give back 110 million. But the thing that they're doing is they're investing that 100 million into something which will give them back 115 million. So even after paying off the bank, they somehow make 5 million. That's what their strategy is, that take money but invest it somewhere where you get a bigger share. Then you come back to your already invested money. They invested in Meta, Pinterest, all these big companies which are US listed. They invested in them like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Since 2015, since Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman became the de facto leader, since the origin of PIF, they've invested largely into all of these companies. So for example, Meta, just to give you an example, I think 5 years ago, Meta, one share was around $110, $115. Right now, Meta, even after getting a big drop, they're at 623. So they've multiplied their
It's worth it
investment
at this
6
point.
times, right? So wherever they invested like 6 years ago, they have an opportunity right now to cash out, take that money, invest it into internal projects, their future projects, their Neom project, their Qiddiya project, they're all the projects that they think are going to make them money.
I think
so
in
it's a
this
nice
case-
cash out.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll come out completely. Again, Yasser Al-Rumayyan, he's so open about all of it that we know everything about PIF through him because of his talks. I remember you quoted him saying that whenever we go into an investment, there's a like 4-part or 5-part
We
plan.
have to be able to leave it.
And the last part always is that when we go in, before going in, we should have an exit strategy. That if we lose money, and that's a very basic, to be honest, trading principle as well. If you're buying a stock or if you're investing your money in anything, be it gold, be it trade, be it ETF, be it anything, you always should have an exit strategy that I'm investing 100 dirhams, for example. If whatever I invest in goes beyond 90 dirhams, if my investment comes down, I start losing money, I'll cash out. It's okay, I'll lose 10 dirhams, but I don't want to lose like 50 dirhams. That's your exit strategy, either at a low or at a high. You're like, if it goes to 150, I'll sell. I won't wait it to go to 170 or
And
180.
in
For me,
this
150
case-
is enough.
In this case, Majid, like humane is at an all-time
Yeah.
high. I think the reason why, you know, PIF, Saudi Arabia, they feel comfortable exiting these strategies is
Yeah.
because of Humane. You know, Humane, the tech startup, the AI startup that they founded in May during Donald Trump's visit to Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia. I mean, they've come so far. They have Tariq Amin heading them, and you know that they're already, you know, set to become the third. Saudi Arabia is set to become the third largest infrastructure provider in the world after the U.S. and China, and I think this is the reason why they feel so comfortable selling these stakes, making these, you know, these risky bets. It's because they found a way to actually build infrastructure within their own country. They're going to have their own Meta, PayPal, all in just, one company. And we saw that with
Yeah.
Humane, the fact that they launched this like laptop, and they're going far with many things. And I think that's what it's about. I think they've
Yeah.
really found a way to build their own products.
Yeah.
And it's kind of about, having a self-sufficient economy that
Yeah.
can sustain itself. And I think we saw it years ago. I always mention this story, but basically years ago when Qatar was being boycotted by the UAE and Saudi Arabia, there was a point where, due to this, because a lot of their exports were actually from the neighboring countries, and at some point they didn't have milk. They didn't have milk, and that's because all the milk that they got, they either got it from the UAE or Saudi Arabia. So then, these two Syrian brothers walked in. They're Syrian Qatari Al Khayyat brothers, Baladna, and they started producing milk in Qatar. They shipped like 5,000 cows. I know we're talking about cows and milk right now, but it's kind of like that point of self-sufficiency. You need to have self-sufficiency, I think, as a country. You can't always rely on aid. You need to have systems set in place, make your own products, sell your own products. I know it sounds so simple, but it's like we need to move away from that concept of let's just ship Apple products, or why can't we make our own? And I think when you make your own, that's when you become powerful, because you don't have to rely on anybody.
Yeah, and even Tariq, I mean, all his recent talks, he's like, we want to be the producer of everything that we have at Humane from A to Z. If we need a software, we'll make it. If we need hardware, we'll make it. If we need a chip, we'll make it. If we need a data center to host the data, we will make it. So Humane is kind of like, gives you an idea of what and how Saudi is thinking. And as Bert said, self-sufficiency. They want to literally not depend on anyone. And Humane, I think, is the experiment that will let them know that, is it doable? It is doable. US does it. They produce literally everything themselves in terms of software, hardware. Everything comes from Silicon Valley or someplace. So Humane is a very nice, to be honest, experiment for every industry that Saudi wants to be self-sufficient. So let's see. I think the Humane experiment is working. Within 5 months, they've gone above and beyond. So, the next story is about another company which has gone above and beyond, and Emirates, which is the Dubai-based airline, the best airline in the world, with Qatar Airways and all the Middle Eastern airlines, is moving towards adopting SpaceX, says Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet to upgrade Wi-Fi across its fleet of 250 aircrafts. This was reported by Bloomberg. The potential agreement is expected to surface at the Dubai Airshow, which starts today or tomorrow, even though Starlink is not yet approved for use in the UAE.
Now, the airline, already the world's most profitable, has more than 300 new aircrafts on order from Boeing and Airbus. A successful deal would be one of Starlink's most significant aviation wins to date, securing an endorsement from one of the industry's most influential global carriers.
And the move also follows growing regional adoption of Starlink. Qatar Airways has already begun rolling out the service, while Saudi, actually I was looking at an ad today, it was on the Qatar Airways page, and a guy, they hired an influencer, he sat on the plane and he shot 2 ads for Qatar Airways. So he was like, let's test it out. So he actually made 2 ads which were AI based and all that. So Qatar Airways has already begun rolling out the service, while Saudi, which is the national flag carrier of Saudi Arabia, has also signed an agreement to equip future aircrafts. These developments signal accelerating interest in next-generation satellite connectivity across major Middle Eastern airlines.
Now, for Emirates, improved connectivity aligns with its record performance this year, posting 22.7 billion dirhams in profit and 145.4 billion dirhams in revenue. Now, the airline continues to invest in premium upgrades across its cabins as passenger demand remains strong.
And the key question now is whether UAE regulators will authorize Starlink for aviation use. Industry watchers expect swift movement, as approval could trigger broader adoption across Gulf carriers and potentially reshape competition in the global in-flight Wi-Fi market.
And I just want to add on that actually the first country that implemented Starlink was Qatar. It was Qatar Airways. And then right after that, we saw that many countries had actually given Starlink approval. I believe there was Oman, there was Lebanon, and I think
Jordan, I think. Jordan is also there. So Starlink is not only being used in aeroplanes, they're being used as a broadcast internet service throughout the country as well. I think it's a very nice move from Elon Musk to launch it in the Middle East with major countries. Again, everyone sees the opportunity, that there is an opportunity. There are people who would pay for extra fast internet, which is connected through satellites and not cables and fiber optics and all this stuff.
But people were arguing in the comment section that it actually doesn't work when they were on Qatar Airways, which is a bit, it's interesting. I don't know. I'll have to try it out for myself to actually judge. But the story performed really well. But I think it's the fact that it's Emirates.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, when we're saying that, Emirates is the most profitable, this is 100% true. It's the best airline in the world. I think when we take a look at this story, it's not a win for Emirates as much as it's a win for Elon Musk. I mean, this is grand for him. First, he has his Dubai loop that's going to come, and now we're seeing that Starlink is going to be in Emirates. I think that the guy is really trying to improve his relations here in a move.
It's not even relations. He knows there's money here. So launching Tesla in Saudi, we saw launching Tesla in Qatar. Launching another one, I think Kuwait is also getting Tesla showrooms and everything. So he knows there's money here, and that is why I think he's smartly placing his bets here now. He is obviously very pro-American, everything. He has his biggest Tesla centers in America. But I think he's realized that since China is out of question and China's sales are down because BYD and there's like 100 competitors which don't let Tesla survive there, right? And then there's Trump, his anti-China policies. But he thinks that if he can't sell to China, which is a big economy, it's a big economy to make a lot of money, he's like, okay, let's go to Middle East, not Asia. He can choose Asia, but I don't think Asia has the buying power right now. Asia, I'm talking about Hong Kong, China. To be honest, China is Asia, but Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, there's a whole setup of countries. Nepal is there. All these countries can be another market. But he's choosing Middle East because everyone is choosing Middle East.
You mentioned something really important, Majid. You said that buying power. Yeah. I think that buying power in the UAE is just out of this world. With the amount of millionaires, billionaires that they have moving here. Just yesterday, we did a story about basically how Naguib Sawiris in London is selling his penthouse. And how he basically reduced the price for it, and he's just trying to let go of it quickly, and it brought back this theme again of once again we're seeing these billionaires, these millionaires in the Western world packing their bags and getting a move on, and they're coming here, and that's why that buying power here, it's so strong, and things are probably going to get more expensive. Majid, did you notice how water bottles have become 2 dirhams? I mean, I've noticed this, but I didn't actually deep it until now. And I was like, wait a minute, this used to be 1. Why is it 2 dirhams? It was not even announced, by the way.
I will only pick the 0.751, but it's 1 and then 1.5. I used to go to Center Point and all these places, and they would have their own bottled water for 2 dirhams.
Oh, really?
Because at the counter, sometime if there's a line, I would just pick up a bottle. It was 2 dirhams. But yeah, it's increasing. There's like minor adjustments. It's not like it's become 5 dirhams from 1 dirham. There's minor adjustments. I think makes sense with, again, UAE also is not completely dependent on oil, but they do earn from oil, and oil prices going down. It somehow connects to prices going up. And also it depends on the demand. If something is in demand, 100% the prices go up. It can't be, I don't think any country in the world can control the prices if the only thing that they rely on is not making them money. So subsidies are there in the UAE. There's a lot of things subsidized. I remember last year, Q4, we did a story. Now we're in Q4 of this year. It's so interesting. We talk about last year like it was 2 months ago, but it's nearly another new year. So last year, Q4, UAE announced a policy where the top 11 things in everyday use, eggs, bread, all these things, you can't increase the prices on them without the government approval. Story. And government with every quarter look at the price of the things and see that if you can, if they will allow you to increase the price. So they have a good regulatory control over the prices of basic stuff that everyone uses every day.
And I think that the food industry in the Middle East right now, the food tech industry is definitely booming. And we see this with a new appointment that has recently been announced. So Hamad Mubarak Al-Hajri, founder and chief executive of Qatar's delivery super app Snoonu, announced on the Wise Guys Qatar podcast that he is going to become the international chief executive of Saudi Arabia's Jahez, one of the region's largest delivery and quick commerce operators.
And the announcement follows Jahez's $245 million acquisition of a 76.56% stake in Snoonu, marking one of Qatar's biggest non-oil and gas transactions. As part of the deal, Jahez has allocated $20 million to launch Snoonu in a new international market.
Snoonu, founded in 2019, has grown into Qatar's leading super app across food delivery, groceries, e-commerce, and logistics. Integrating Snoonu into the Jahez network strengthens the Saudi company's regional presence, adding new scale to a business that already runs platforms such as PIK and Blue.
And Jahez currently holds 32% of Saudi Arabia's food delivery market, and this cross-border leadership move signals deeper consolidation within the Gulf's digital commerce sector. Investors view the combined capabilities as creating a stronger regional competitor to both established players and new international entrants.
Now, attention now turns to Snoonu's upcoming international launch, which Al Hajri will oversee while retaining 23.4% ownership in the company. Now, analysts expect Jahez to use its footprint in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and Kuwait to accelerate growth and reshape the wider GCC delivery landscape. I think with this story, it's such an inspiring one.
Yeah.
You know, you have this guy, he starts this company, Snoonu in Qatar. It becomes this leading e-commerce company. And then right after that, they have Jahez acquire them for about like 75, 76%. By the way, I found out, Majid, that in Qatar, outside of oil and gas, that is the largest transaction to have ever occurred, cash on cash. You know, for Hamad to come and do this, he's such a serial entrepreneur. This is not his first business.
Yeah.
I think he had something called Biryani Express. I mean, this man has done it all. So for me, it's exciting to see this, and the fact that I think he's a good businessman because he got a lot out of that deal. When Jahez acquired Snoonu, we now find out from that podcast that he got equity in Jahez, that he was able to score millions of riyals for himself, for the company, for its employees. Do you know how many employees Snoonu has?
A lot.
30 employees.
30?
He said that on the podcast.
Not, not including the riders?
I don't think that's including the writers, but I think that was so interesting, Majid.
It's a small
30
setup.
employees. And you guys were able to do this much, have the largest cash-on-cash transaction outside of oil and gas. And for me, I think it was even funnier. I'm like, wow, Hajri, you went on the Wise Guys podcast, this very like Gen Z-like podcast, and you just announced all of this information. That's crazy.
I also remember I saw like clips of that podcast. It was very interesting. We hosted him at Web Summit in Feb. Rich interviewed him. A very nice guy, very well spoken. The interesting part was that you're talking about his leadership. He was giving a very nice example, and he was like, I don't follow like global leaders in terms of how you manage it. He's like, I follow the Prophet. And I was like, oh, wow, that will be interesting. And he was like, he told a story that once a guy came to the mosque and he was like, where's Muhammad? Where's Muhammad, the Prophet, peace be upon him? And he was like, he couldn't find him because he didn't sit like a leader. He was sitting in the circle with the people after the prayer, and the person couldn't identify him. So he was like, that is what I follow as a leader. I am part of the team, and no one can discern me like as the leader. When it comes to decision making, obviously you take decisions, but when you're with the team, you should be one part of the team. And he's like, that is why I love this story where he came in, he asked for Muhammad, and then Muhammad, peace be upon him, he stood up and he was like, yeah, I am Muhammad. So he's like, that is the example of my leadership. So it was very nice, and you should watch the whole podcast. I will. It's very interesting. And then him announcing that he will be the international CEO. Again, very well spoken.
That is a big milestone.
And he's very well followed on LinkedIn. We remember we did a post about how he was questioning people who were asking that why is Mamdani eating with his hand, and he said it's a part of culture. It's not nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. You just wash your hands and eat. Hands were made to eat, I think, and use.
I think his commentary, it's
Yeah.
very valid. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I've led with you multiple times before. There was one where I put a photo of him and he was smiling. It's just I can't find a photo of you angry. You know,
Yeah.
you're always smiling and that's great.
You should
but-
pose more with serious positions.
Yeah.
Right?
But just to end the show, the last topic of the day, and I think that this one's really exciting. The Dubai-based Lebanese British influencer and entrepreneur Karen Wazen is expanding her eyewear brand into Egypt through a new partnership with Baraka Group, one of the largest eyewear retailers in Egypt. Now, this rollout, it's beginning really soon in early 2026 and will introduce dedicated stores across multiple major cities in Egypt.
And the agreement includes plans to open new boutique every quarter for 4 years. That's what, 16 stores, reaching up to 16 stores nationwide. Wazen's brand already has strong traction in Egypt, recording 50 to 80% annual sales growth and more than 12,500 units sold to date.
Now, this expansion highlights the growing commercial influence of regional creators who are increasingly transitioning into full-scale business operators. For Egypt, this move is going to strengthen its fashion and retail ecosystem, bringing a high-performing regional label into the fast-growing consumer market with strong demand for premium accessories.
For Baraka Group, established in 1979, very old, and now operating more than 45 locations, the collaboration introduces a digitally influential, youth-driven brand to its portfolio. The partnership also reflects the broader trend of Gulf-based founders exporting homegrown concepts across the Middle East and North Africa.
So the first Karen Wazen boutique is expected to open in early 2026. By the way, with her eyewear brand, Karen Wazen, she got Beyonce to wear it. She got, I think, the F1 driver's fiance.
Nice.
And exactly. And then you have Olivia Rodriguez, Hailey Bieber, Justin Bieber's wife, and the Rode founder. But so many celebrities are actually wearing these glasses. And by the way, they're not really cheap. I think they're like about 400 to 600 dirhams. It's a luxury brand and they're really good quality. So I think it's interesting that first she chose to go to Egypt and expand it across Egypt. But I think more than that, over the weekend, and I think you're seeing this in my writing, Majid, a lot of these female businesses are booming.
Yes.
We're seeing a lot happen. We saw with Monica Tan, she has a collaboration that's coming soon with Saddle Cafe by this Emirati founder. And we also have Nefes that was launched by North Stars, her new fragrance brand. And what else is going on? Yes, and there's this other company, it's called Adaya. Basically, they're trying to make organic, sustainable period care. And the founder, the Bahraini entrepreneur, Shireen Abdullah, was basically able to get, I think, like a pop-up in Shuwei Trams in this greens community. So we're seeing a lot going on there. And these products, I think that they go on to do well. Because if you actually look at, she said something in this interview, Shireen Abdullah with Harper's Bazaar. She basically said that when you go into Sephora, you don't see period pads there. But you see them in pharmacies. And she said that this should be more of a, this should be more of a fun experience for women. And she's setting her sights on Sephora. And I think it's an interesting story going on there. And I think the reason why this product will be successful, we have not seen it before. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen something like this before.
I think a good influencer loves good products. So when they build a product, they would obviously build a good product. Because if they build a bad product, they will lose a lot of people because people are very scary when it comes to reviews. If they don't like something, they will tell you in your comment section. So I think it's a very nice idea where influencers are actually making products and selling them because they know if they go 1% down on quality even, they will get a lot of flack for it. So somehow it makes sense that they give good products and people use them. And some of them will always hate products. People have their own opinions. They are allowed to have their own opinions. But I think it's just given that an influencer, if they make a product, they have to make it very nicely. They have to put in the quality. Even if they charge a premium on it, they have to give everything that they promise. If they say it's durable, they will have to throw it from the 100th floor and see if it's breaking or not. They have to promise that. Otherwise, people will
That
do
is
it
true.
and be like, oh, Noor Stars made this, but this doesn't work. This guy made this, doesn't work. See, look, I'm trying it.
But you know
So,
what, like,
yeah.
Majid, when you take a look at all these founders, I think for me, the one that stands out the most for me is definitely Karen Wazen.
Yeah.
And I think I'm being biased, and I'm saying this because of the fact I met her, by the way,
Oh,
in a
nice.
shoot, in a production shoot. I didn't know who she was at that time. No, seriously, I did not
Nice.
know who she was, and I remember in that shoot. There was someone who basically kept pushing me and telling me, "Hey, you need to go speak to her," and it's like, you know how it is sometimes, you know. And I thought to myself, I'm like, I really hope this human being does not find me annoying because I keep filming them. And you know what, Majid? There is a reason why people like Karen Wazen reach the level of success that they do. It's because of how professional they are.
Yes.
She's so professional. I've never seen an influencer before who does not complain.
Yeah.
She does not complain. She does the job. She's really professional about it.
So before we
And-
wrap up, sorry, interrupting you. Today,
Yeah.
the Dubai Airshow actually starts. It starts today, November 17, goes on till November 21. Next week, we have MWC Qatar, MWC Doha happening. That's a mobile world conference, one of the OG events. That's happening. We'll be there. Apart from that, we have the final pitch. Again, just we said it in the start, but I would like to say it in the end. It's airing on OSN and OSN TV, OSN Plus and OSN TV. So don't forget to watch the first episode. I think in the second last or third last episode, we have our founder, CEO, Richard Fitzgerald, as a guest there as also. So it's going to be a nice show. It's just a break from Shark Tank, I think.
Yes,
So,
it
yeah.
will be. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the Smashy Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media channels at Smashy Business and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description.
This has been a Smashy Business Show, a Smashy Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. A big shout out to our more than 2 million monthly listeners across all platforms. You make this possible. If you're one of them, we appreciate you. Have a great, great, great day. We will see you tomorrow.